Hi everyone, it's Janine from It's Naturally Neen. Today I wanted to talk about something that I feel not enough people talk about. And that is one of the downfalls of using diet in order to heal any sort of condition in the body. I want to preface this with, if there's a way of eating or a diet that works well for you and makes you feel ideal, then absolutely continue to do it. As long as it feels good in your body, I don't judge. And, I've been the spectrum from vegan to carnivore, and I've seen people have results on both. I've seen people not have results on both. And so I really do think it's an individual basis what works for each person. However, the downfall, in my opinion, is that if it's not approached carefully, it can take the focus off of the true source of healing. The true source of healing is us. It's me, it's you. We each have so much power in order to heal. And I believe that when we become sick, it's our mission, it's our duty to reconnect with ourselves, to come back inward and to access that power. So when we are expecting a diet or anything external to come and fix us, we're not getting the lesson. We're not getting the point. And oftentimes those external modalities only end up being temporary fixes. I've done diets. I've done protocols like parasite cleansing. I've done drainage therapies. I've done a lot of things. And for some of those things, I did feel relief. For other things, I felt worse. But there was never oh my gosh, this condition is gone because of this diet, or this condition is gone because of this cleanse. No. In fact, any relief was always temporary. And with diet, as it goes with most people, when you start to reintroduce foods that were outside of your circle, the symptoms come back. So have you really healed? Now, I get it. Symptoms are awful and all you want is relief. So if a diet works for you, amazing. We all want relief. So do it. But my caveat would be do it with the intention of reconnecting to yourself, getting in touch with your higher power. I do believe I'm at a point now in my journey where I firmly believe that any sort of outward external healing like diet must come second to the inner healing that has to happen. And what does this inner healing look like? Often it involves being brutally honest with yourself and looking at the beliefs you've been carrying around, the people you've been letting into your life, the circumstances you've tolerated or accepted or validated. Are these on your highest timeline? What is this illness trying to tell you? What in your life is not in alignment? Do you hate your job? Do you hate your relationship? Do you hate yourself? These are all the hard questions that people often like to bypass by going to diet or to mold. And don't get me wrong, mold is really important, but people will put all of their focus, all of their attention on these things without realizing there's plenty of people who are exposed to mold or exposed to Lyme and they're not affected. They don't develop severe Lyme disease. They don't get sick. So what is it about me that's making me vulnerable to these pathogens, to these parasites? What is it about me? What do I have going on that I can't digest my food, that I can only tolerate red meat or whatever it is that you can tolerate? Many people will go down to a solely red meat carnivore diet and feel a lot better. But the question is, why aren't you able to process other foods? And there's a lot of connections. The body speaks in ways that's kind of obvious. Like when you're not able to digest food, you're not able to digest your emotions. When you're constipated, you're also constipated emotionally. You don't know how to let go. You're not releasing. When you have diarrhea, you're just rushing past things. You're not stopping and taking the time to process the emotions that are underneath. And so diet or a medication can absolutely help, can ease symptoms. but it's not getting at the root of what's allowing that symptom to pop up in the first place. And I always like to say, what is happening in the physical originates in the metaphysical. The other downside, personally, for using diet in order to heal is that you can become very restrictive. It's almost like, depending on what your diet is, you can feel like you're living in a box. You're literally putting yourself in another box. Again, depending on what you're doing. But from my personal experience, I put myself in the vegan box. I put myself in the raw vegan box. I put myself in the carnivore box. I then put myself in the keto box. And it's like I'm literally drawing limitations around me at a time when my body wants to expand and be free. I have felt like a prisoner in my body from rheumatoid arthritis, and then I felt like a prisoner from the confines I built myself for what I can and can't eat. And this also becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you tell yourself, oh, I can't tolerate whatever it might be, let's use peanuts. I can't tolerate peanuts. Oh my God, I cannot tolerate any fermented foods. I can't tolerate hot sauce. Well, if you are telling yourself that and you're believing it, it will very likely be true. But if someone had never told you, oh, if you have autoimmune, don't eat nightshades, I wonder what your experience would have been. And so now when I eat food, I pray over it. I pray that God, whoever you speak to, I pray that God may infuse my food with the highest vibration, that it may transmute any negative energy into the highest light, and that my body is prepared to digest this food. And setting the intention and speaking over myself that I am resilient, I am safe. That helps me. I'm telling you, it helps. I've gone into eating a meal that I haven't had in a while and I felt awful, and I didn't do those practices that I just told you about, or I did them, but I was still operating from fear. And then there's times where I felt very firmly and I decided this is going to be okay, and then it was. And granted, you might have a little symptom here or there because you haven't had the food in a while. But just be compassionate with your body and just allow whatever needs to come up. And just a final note that I would add is, like with diets, with healing protocols, they generally only work for a percentage of people. And that's why it's so confusing. You can see someone who's healed from veganism, but then you hear all the carnivore people talking about how a vegetable is going to kill you. And it's like, well, wait a second. This woman had really severe cancer and she healed from veganism. So what's going on? And again, I just want to urge you to get back in touch with your inner healer, because for me, that is what moves the needle. The diet can help, the supplements can help, but what's going to move the needle is you deciding that you are going to heal, you deciding that you are healthy, and you act accordingly. You act in that energy. And we're not gaslighting ourselves. If we feel sick, it's okay to acknowledge that you feel sick, but inviting in a higher power to come in and start activating your inner healer. And throughout the day, practicing what it would feel like if you did feel healthy. Even if you can find that in the smallest of moments. Maybe you're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and you really enjoy it and you're just having bliss in that moment, really experiencing the bliss. And maybe even pairing it, even if it's just for a minute, with an image of you being healthy. And that's how you start to change the narrative in your body, because your cells are always listening. So I am excited to announce that I do have a meditation that's about to come out that helps you clear confusion from your field and connect to your inner healer. So I will be posting that soon. Please stay tuned for that. And if you want to see more content like this, please click subscribe. Thanks.